Yanks and Mets are be in action Friday. Everybody off for the All-Star games. That's where we are right now. All right. And we'll get to some, baseball, football, whatever's on your mind. Don in Old Bridge. What's up, Don?
Hey, Mike, how are you today,
What's
my
happening?
friend?
What's happening?
Yeah, it's all good. Nice move by DeGrom's people today in the poker game. Let me tell you, I think it was a big move on their part. Now we'll see what happens. But the All-Star game, man, what happened?
My prediction is nothing will happen. How's that for a prediction?
You don't think they're going to trade?
I don't think the Mets will counter. I don't think they'll make any statement publicly.
So what are they going to do? Just sit on it?
I don't think they're going to tell you anything. I think you're going to have to guess what they're doing. I don't think they're going to say one word. Then see what happens next. That's what I think will happen. Let's see if I'm right or wrong that the Mets don't counter. They don't say a word.
Me personally, I wouldn't trade them. Let me ask you, what happened to this All-Star game? Do you think it's the free agents and the interleague
First of all, All-Star games stink to begin with. Secondly, the problem is you used to have two leagues. You don't have two leagues anymore. If you have one league, how do you have an All-Star game?
Okay.
Okay. You used to have two leagues. You used to have pride in the league. People had their favorite leagues. They had their favorite players. They liked to see the American League players play against the National League. I remember when the National League started killing the American League every year. Okay, and then there's recent time where the American League killed the American League every year. But now where you got players changing teams every year, changing teams in the middle of the season, free agents, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, everybody plays everybody. What's the drama? There is none. Dave in Connecticut, what's up, Dave? Yes, Dave.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, Dave, what's up?
This is Dave from Connecticut.
Yeah, we got that.
How
what's
many?
Up?
The other day, you talked about you laid down sort of a challenge. You thought the Red Sox would lose 4 in a row at some point between now and Labor Day, I believe. Was
yes, end of August. Yeah, I said.
I think that's perfectly plausible.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's what happens in baseball. That's my point.
I don't disagree, except that I would take the bet.
Well, you see, Red Sox fans have now decided that their team is invincible, and as soon as you do that, your team will show you that it's not invincible. I mean, that was a Red Sox fan who called up and basically proclaimed that the race was over. The race isn't over. They're 3 out in the loss column. They're not. It's not over. And right now they're hot. And when they're hot, things are going well. And when they cool off, they cool off. And, that's how baseball is. It's a game of streaks. It's a game of momentum is tomorrow's pitcher, and it's a game of streaks. That's what it is.
I agree with you. And momentum being tomorrow's pitcher, I think that's the reason Boston is not likely to lose 4 in a row, because every day they throw out a quality pitcher. They got 2 or 3 of them. All former All-Star pitchers on the DL, so they're very deep.
None of them are overpowering, though. Sale's a really good pitcher, but none of them are overpowering.
I agree. Hey, look, the Yankees are for real.
No, listen, it's not about the Yankees. I just said, all I said is the race isn't over. That's all. That was it. The guy proclaimed the race over, and I said, you know what? When you think a team can't lose, you watch. They'll have a losing streak. It's just the way baseball goes. I am in Lakewood. What's up, Hi?
Hi. I have a question. What do you think it takes for the Yankees to win the AL East this year? What do you think they have to do?
Actually, they have to win one more game in the Red Sox, I think. But other than that, I think they just have to pitch a little better in the starting rotation more than anything else. It's really what it's about. I think they just have to get a little more consistent pitching.
Do you think they go out and get a new pitcher right now?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they'll get a pitcher before August 1st. I do. I would not be surprised. I think that will happen. Dave in Selden, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike, what's happening?
What's up?
To me, obviously, like everyone else, I think we need one more starting pitcher. Let me see if you think this is unrealistic. Somebody better than Tanaka, but not as good as Severino. And if so, who would that possibly be, in your opinion? Is that too much to ask?
Probably. I mean, because if you're talking better than Tanaka, you're talking about a guy who's probably an ace. I can't give you a guy that I could tell you could pitch a better game than Tanaka might in the postseason. I can't give you that guy unless I'm talking about a guy who's a DeGrom or a Syndergaard or somebody on that level. And I don't think they're available right now, but they could be. And this could foster it. Fascinating to see what the Met reaction is. My feeling is the Met reaction will be nil, meaning they won't comment. If they don't comment, what happens? Next move is DeGrom's. Mike in Jersey. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
What's happening?
I'm a college tennis coach, and the scenes that they choreograph, they're the best tennis scenes I've ever seen on in a movie. I mean, they were lifelike. It's exactly how the match went down.
Well, also they did what Billy's game was. Billy was going to make him move side to side. The thing that she told, and I remember when she got ready for that thing because I happened to be around her then. She thought that, first of all, that she said the one thing about Margaret Court-Smith, who was a great player, was that she could be very easily rattled. Secondly, she never made Riggs move. And that she said the thing she was going to do was she was going to make Riggs move side to side. That's the thing she said. I'm going to make him move side to side the entire match. And that's what she did.
Yeah, and I never knew you were, an intern.
I actually wasn't. I actually had a good relationship with her. I had, and with Larry King, but especially her. Larry King was around. They were running World Team Tennis together. They had a big stake in it, and she and I had for 2 summers had a good relationship. We got along very well because she was a really good sports fan. She loved to talk about every sport. She really had she thought World Team Tennis was going to be enormous, and I didn't. We used to fight about it, and she'd be like, "What?" And she thought it was going to be. She really did. She really believed, and it couldn't be. It couldn't be because they could not afford the biggest stars, and it still was about the big major events. It was see, as I tried to say to at the time, as I remember we used to talk about it, I was like, if it's not the most important thing that the player does, it's never going to be the biggest thing. That's all there is to it, and that's why I never thought it would be. And she really believed in it unbelievably. And she was, she was a big. First of all, the amazing thing about her was she knew everybody. She knew. I mean, she was like the most famous person you'd ever be around. She knew everybody. Everybody. I mean, there was no one she didn't know. Presidents, anyone there. She knew everybody. The other thing was, she was incredibly passionate about tennis, and she really was a good sports fan because her brother was a pitcher for the Giants, Randy Moffat, and her father was a big athlete growing up, and she loved all sports. She was very close to, like I said, Ed Snyder from the 76ers. I mean, from the Flyers. She was very close to him, and, she was a real big sports fan. She loved all sports. She really did. She wanted World Team Tennis to succeed unbelievably. She really did.
Yeah, it hasn't. But that scene with Jack Kramer, that was riveting. I just never knew that happened, that she was going to walk away.
I remember that she demanded he get off there. I remember they had a big issue. I didn't remember every part of it. I remember Cosell was the announcer. I'll tell you, I remember how much pressure she felt to be. She like I said, Margaret Court-Smith was a rival. Clearly, was a big rival.
Yeah, number 1 in the world.
Right, and they didn't like each other. They didn't. They had obviously very different ideas about life, and they were very different. And one was very religious, the other one was not. The whole thing, but she always said that she did not want her to lose that match, and she knew Riggs was a con guy, and she knew that she could handle what he would dish out, and she didn't think that Margaret could. And she did handle it well. I was surprised the scene about her crying afterwards, like how much pressure she felt. I don't know if that's true or not true. I have no idea. I was not at the match. I did not go to the match. But I don't know. But I know she really, I don't remember ever thinking she was going to lose, to be honest with you. I think she thought she was going to win.
Yeah, she wore him down. The movie was well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought the movie was. I thought that Emma Watson did a very good job. That's who played her, right? Emma Watson that played her. Yeah, she was good. I thought she was very good. I thought she did a good job. Yeah, I really did. I thought it was pretty good, to be honest with you. I really did. And like I said, I did World Team Tennis and the big thing was when Chris Everett came in and played on the Phoenix Suns with Rod Laver and I try to remember all the players. Butch Waltz. There were like 3 men and 3 women on the team. And when Everett came in, it was a big deal. Like, they sold out. That's the only night they ever sold out, was when Chris Everett came in. And Virginia Wade, who was the number 2 woman on this team, on the sets team, won Wimbledon the year she was there. The year that they had it, too. She won Wimbledon that year. So So, I mean, it was a kind of big. It was interesting. I was only there, like I said, I only worked it in the summer, 2 summers. But she was, and the coach was a guy named Fred Stolle. He was an old Australian guy. He was a nice guy, really nice guy. A guy who's been been a tennis announcer for a long time. He was a tennis announcer for a long time. Really nice guy. But I really got to know her pretty well. I mean, of course, she was always hanging around, and I used to sit around and talk with her. That's the only reason I knew her, only for a short time, though. I mean, 2 summers. It was like 30 events probably over 2 summers. Anthony in Staten Island. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, Mike. I want to talk about the MLB, the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually talking to my son, and he brought up a good point, how the NHL has, like, the skills competition where a pitcher's accuracy or a base runner running, all around the bases. I think that would be interesting to see, which pitcher, could hit the spot.
Owners would never allow it. Owners would never allow it.
To throw the hardest.
They would never allow it. They wouldn't want their players getting hurt. They would never allow anybody to run. They would never allow anybody to throw. They do not want their players getting hurt. They would never allow any of that stuff. They do. They would hope their players get named and then don't play. Ira in Rochester. What's up, Ira?
How you doing?
Good.
The one thing I remember about the Billie Jean King Riggs match was that the more Riggs tried to turn it into a joke with his shenanigans, she can crack a smile. She got more serious as the minute was going. That's all I remember about that match. But I'm using it as an excuse your Peter King to talk a little football on that rule that you brought up. Might as well bring it up now as long as it came up in the interview. You have 8 guys on the coverage team of a kickoff now. That 8 guys have to stay within the first 15 yards, and they're not allowed to block in that.
Well, you can.
Yards.
There is a legal 2-man block and an illegal 2-man block based on where the alignment was. So you're going to ask the official to actually make the call based on what the alignment was, not the 2-man block. The 2-man block itself is not illegal. It's where it came from. If it comes from the wrong place, it is illegal. If it comes from the right place, it's legal. That's going to be a very difficult call. That is a very hard call. As Peter said, the helmet call is going to be a very hard call. And that call on the illegal block or the illegal 2-man block or the legal 2-man block is going to be a very, very tough call. Rich in Bayville. What's up, Rich?
How you doing, Mike? Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, what's happening?
2 quick points. First off, I want to cite how I really don't understand where the fundamental of bunting has gone in baseball, especially in interleague play. I'd like to cite Tanaka getting hurt, and I don't know if you saw Neil Walker the other day. He bunted through the shift and got a single. Do you think more players will start to do that?
No.
And,
no. I don't.
Otherwise,
I don't for this reason, because they don't want people to bunt. They feel that bunting, giving up an out. Now, if you're bunting for a base hit, you might see somebody check a swing to try and hit it through the opposite side. Maybe that could happen, yes. But as far as bunting itself, that's what you brought up first, the art of bunting. It will not happen because they don't want most of the new analytics don't believe in bunting. They don't believe in giving up outs. They believe you have 27 outs. They're precious. You don't give up an out in the game. And that's not that is not a very new or a revolutionary idea. Earl Weaver managed from that aspect. He did not believe in the bunt. He believed he had 27 outs. He wasn't going to give you any. And he was going to try and hit 3-run home runs. I mean, that was his game, and that's the game now, because the game now is walk and home run. And the game that Earl wanted to play was get on base and home run. That was what he was looking for. Earl believed in pitching and the 3-run homer. That was his way to win. Pitching, and their defense wasn't bad either. But he believed in pitching and the 3-run homer. Joe in Jersey, what's up, Joe?
What's going on, Mike?
What's happening?
Yeah, before I play the ground play, I watched this movie last night too, and it's funny, Mike. I never realized it. Elton John supposedly had a piece of that. He owned a piece of that team too. and he was very friendly with Billie Jean King. That song "Philadelphia Freedom" was actually about a tennis.
That's later team. When the Philadelphia Freedom song is about her. The whole song is dedicated.
Yeah, I never knew that.
She and Elton John were best friends. She used to go up on the stage and sing with them. They were best friends.
Amazing. I never knew that.
Yes, best friends.
As far as DeGrom's concerned, like the bottom line is this. I mean, they have 2 years after this year of control of him. I mean, there's nothing he could do. I mean, like, he's going to get his money in arbitration, probably get like $20 million next year after the season he's having this year.
What he did was threaten them, is what he did.
I mean, what do you think's going to happen? In your opinion, anything?
I think the Mets will say nothing, and the ball's in DeGrom's court. But listen, DeGrom's agent threw down the gauntlet. He basically said, "Don't leave us here."
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. He's always been a good soldier, not like Harvey, not like Boris.
Don't leave us here. That came. Yeah. I guarantee you. Now, I don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. I know one thing, though. The Mets hierarchy has always held DeGrom in the highest of esteem as being a team player and everything else. I would think this had to surprise them. I think this was something they were not expecting. And clearly this was... Now, I think what will happen is they will say nothing. And say, okay. They say nothing. What does DeGrom do? What can he possibly do? He can't force a trade. He can start to comment negatively about the team. He could get surly. But his agent, if you're just joining us, basically what we're alluding to is DeGrom's agent, Brody Van Wagenen, said today, "We have discussed Jacobs' future with the Mets at length. Jacob has expressed interest in exploring a long-term partnership, which means I want big money, that would keep him in a Met uniform for years to come. If the Mets don't share the same interest, we believe their best course of action is to seriously consider trade opportunities now. The inertia of the current situation could complicate Jacobs' relationship with the club and creates an atmosphere of indecision." That's a threat. Now, if the Mets say nothing, DeGrom can't force a trade. He's under their control. All he can do is act or say things that are counterproductive to the team. Is that going to be his take? I'm sure people are going to flock to DeGrom as soon as he comes back, or maybe even flock to him tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Or as soon as he's available to the media, whatever time does he see the media today or tomorrow, DeGrom? Oh, those are from today. Oh, those are from today's clips. Okay, so he's already seen the media today. So did everybody have that, though? Did anybody ask a question, what happens if the Mets don't react? What's your next step? Anybody ask that? Because that's the next question. If you have it, we'll play it when we come back.